Galimera. Good morning. And just before I was coming on air, and I was just getting set up, I was just watching two birds of prey that were just flying around our location. That could explain why there's no chickens about at the moment. They're all undercover with their chicks, making sure that they don't get any visitors coming down to see them. But as you can see, it's a lovely blue sky this morning with a little bit of cloud. I've got to say thank you to the lovely Amanda who says, good morning, Ginge. Thursday's weather, it will be mainly cloudy with sunshine. Temperatures 20 degrees, but it's going to feel like 20 degrees. And have a great day. I've got to be honest, I have noticed it is just getting that little bit cooler every day as we feel the winter bite on the way. So anyway, that's the weather for today. It's looking absolutely glorious on this Remembrance Thursday today, as it's the 11th of the 11th. And don't forget that at 1 o'clock in the UK, that will be the time here, but at 11 o'clock in the UK, the old 1 minute silence will commence to remember the fallen. So once again, to all my RAF Reg buddies, all ex-service personnel everywhere, and those that are still serving or have a connection, once again, this is a very important day as we get towards the weekend and Remembrance Day on Sunday. So thank you to all those guys that have been dropping little messages and comments, etc. You have a great weekend as well when you're in London. I know it's also a great time for reunions, for people to catch up on others, etc. Just wish I could be there. I've never managed yet to get to a remembrance at the cenotaph, but I do know the IF Regiment contingent. Again, I'm really looking forward to catching up with old friends, old buddies, and also remember those that are not there as well. Anyway, per ardua, that's all I'm going to say. Right, let's turn the old camera around and let's crack on with the news and what's been going on in the last 24 hours here in Greece. I've got to be honest, it's going to be a little bit COVID heavy, but there is some interesting and some good news on the way. Right then, COVID in the last 24 hours as follows. We've had a drop in infection rate. You might remember that yesterday we had a record high of 8,633 new infections across the country. Well, today I can report that has dropped to 1,105 new infections across the country, bringing the total now to 808,297, of which 50% of those are male. 5 new cases were detected at entries into the country. That number was down on the day before, where 19 new cases had been detected on entry into the country. Now, when we look at Ionian Islands that are close to us at the moment, what their infection rates have been over the last 24 hours, Macardo, they've actually had a drop in infection rates. They had 10 cases reported there. That was down on the 18 on the previous day. Just to remind you that island is in the green. On Corfu then, they've had a slight drop. They were at 87 cases on the day before. Yesterday, 76 new cases. That island is in the red. Our neighbours across the way there, Kefalonia, they've also had a decrease as well in infection rates. They were at 18 on the day before. Yesterday, 13 new infections, and they are in amber on that island. And us, Zakynthos, we've had an increase, actually, to be quite honest. We had 21 new infections on the day before. Yesterday, it's been reported that we've had 28 new infections, and we are in the red, as we have been for quite some time. When it comes to deaths, unfortunately, deaths yesterday in Greece from coronavirus, that reached the highest number since daily records since May the 12th. We had 70 deaths. When you consider that the day before we had 46, that's quite an increase at the moment. That means so far we've had 16,493 deaths since the pandemic has started. Again, most of those people were over the age of 70 years of age, of which 95.3% of them were or had underlying health conditions. So once again, our condolences to those people and families that are affected by what has happened there. When it comes to critical cases, again, they are creeping up again. Yesterday, I said we had 486 critical cases on the island. That has crept up, not on the island, in Greece. That has crept up to 489. Of that 489, 301 are male, 188 are female. The average age of those people is 66 years of age. 82.8% of them have underlying health conditions or are over the age of 70. Regarding vaccinations for those, 405 of that number are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated, means they've had one dose, and 84 were fully vaccinated. Right, let's look at the news then. Just be aware then today, I'm not sure if this is happening in Zakynthos, but this was what was reported yesterday. It seems that food service enterprises around Greece, they're going to be closing today on Thursday as a symbolic act of protest against the new restrictions imposed on the sector since Saturday, and mainly that the fact that they have come without any measures that will offset their closure of business. So you may find today in town that the coffee houses, restaurants, etc., anybody that's to do with food services may in effect be closed as a form of protest. Now, the decision for a 24-hour strike, which was made, will include a protest rally that should be starting at about 11 o'clock in central Athens. This was made after a fruitless meeting between the sector's federation, which is called POSI, and the Prime Minister on Monday morning. It seems they had a meeting to discuss what was going on within their businesses, and obviously, as I could obviously imagine, arrogance of the Prime Minister basically to say, no, you'll do as I say, you'll close, and that's it, full stop. You'll impose these measures, full stop. So anyway, retail commerce has also saw a turnover from over the weekend despite the good weather, with comparisons with the same weekend 2 years ago showing that there was a 30% drop on their bottom line of turnover. And last year, the second lockdown began on November the 7th. So again, they are losing money by obviously people not wanting to go in. I'm not sure about how much effect that is having here at the moment. Most people are doing as they're told. They're presenting their papers and basically still going into the restaurants and bars and coffee houses, as they would do normally. Yes, the police have been out and about, closing down 2 venues at the moment for not complying. I think it was €5,000 fine plus 10 days closure, which is obviously very bad for them as well, especially at this time as well. So again, we'll keep an eye on that. I will be going into town this morning, and I'll see if anybody is actually demonstrating against what is going on. Anyway, also as well, another interesting story that was highlighted in the Greek press referenced the vaccine. People aged under the age of 30 in Germany should only receive the Biontech Pfizer Covid-19 vaccination, as it causes fewer heart inflammations in younger people than the Moderna shot, an advisory committee said on Wednesday. Now, this is in Germany, not in Greece at the moment, although Greece does at times like to take a bit of a lead on what Germany is doing. Anyway, the committee, known as Skopos in Germany, recommended that pregnant women also be inoculated, but only with the Biontech Pfizer vaccine, regardless of their age. Now, the recommendations are based on a new safety data from the St. Paul Ehrlich Institute, Germany's authority in charge of vaccines, and new international data. Now, several other European Union countries have already recommended limiting the use of the Moderna vaccine among younger people. The German PIE data showed a reported rate for heart inflammations of 11.71% per 100,000 shots, with the Moderna vaccine for men in the 18 to 29 group compared with the 4.68 for the Biontech Pfizer shot. For women, the rate was 2.95 with the Moderna at 0.97 with the Biontech Pfizer. So basically, Germany is now looking at the fact that the Moderna is not good for those people of a young age, and that it can cause heart inflammations, mainly in young men between the ages of 18 to 29. Anyway, in the 12 to 17 age group, the rate was 11.41 for the males, and the Moderna shot compared with that was at 4.81. For the Pfizer vaccine, there is no data provided for females in the lower age group. Anyway, France's public health authority this week recommended that under 30s are given the Pfizer vaccine when available instead of the Moderna. Finland and Sweden have also limited the use of the Moderna shot as well. The EU drug regulator said last month it concluded in its review that Moderna's COVID-19 booster vaccine could be given to people aged 18 years and above at least 6 months after the second dose. On Tuesday, Moderna applied for the European authorization of its COVID-19 vaccine in children aged between 6 to 11 years. 6 to 11 years, weeks after it delayed a similar filing with the US regulator. So again, it seems that Moderna are trying now to roll out a vaccine specifically aimed at children, and we'll keep an eye on that and we'll see how that goes. I still believe that vaccinating of children is not advisable. I still believe that children build their own natural immunity, that children themselves need to be exposed to certain things so that this natural immunity can actually happen. And as we have seen, there have been some cases of children contracting the virus and passing away, but in general, not many children have done so far. So this kind of, again, mantra to now vaccinate the kids is, I think, not advisable. And again, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying that is my opinion. And it's obviously for the parents to decide what is best for their children. But me personally, as a father of a child who's now grown up, I don't think I would have been running to have my child vaccinated, to be quite honest, especially at that young age. Anyway, Germany said on May the 7th it would give the AstraZeneca shot to all adults who wanted it. It had previously restricted to use over the 60s after post-vaccination monitoring found that sometimes fatal cases of blood clotting with younger women were disproportionately affected. So basically what Germany is saying, they're going to give the AstraZeneca shot, okay, to people who want it, whereas before they were restricting it to the over 60s. So again, we'll keep an eye on how things are going to be playing out in Germany. Anyway, again, a local story which raised an eyebrow or two, considering everything that's been going on, referenced the landfill that is down in Skopos. Now, for those people wondering where that is the old landfill that was closed because it was basically a danger to the National Marine Park, because there was a danger that it could split and all the pollution and contamination in the landfill there could actually end up going into the National Marine Park, into the waters around there. And that was one of the reasons why it was closed. And a second landfill has been built in another part of the island. Now, interestingly, there has been approval for the study for the old landfill to be reinstated. Yeah, that's right. They want to bring it back. Now, the board of directors for FOSDA, the regional Ionian Islands, and the deputy regional governor, they have been talking to local media saying that this is an important development and it paves the way for a final solution to a huge environmental problem. Now, the regional director noted that the study has already been posted in the electronic environmental register of RIS, and that by the end of the week it will be officially presented by Zakynthos, by the contractor designer, basically the people who are going to carry out this survey. Now, at the moment, this is just a survey to see if it is possible to reopen that landfill. Now, automatically, the mayor has started to question the budget that's been allocated for this survey to take place, which is at 4.5 million euros. Now, he's not objecting to the actual thought of doing the survey, but he has questioned the amount of money that is being given so the survey can actually go ahead. However, it seems that after everything that's been going on, to have to go and reopen that landfill after it was closed because it was the center of a lot of controversy here a few years ago with regards to the danger to the environment and the National Marine Park, it seems that certain people really want to get that landfill reopened again and for it to accept rubbish. So anyway, as of this Friday, the presentation will be given as to how this will be tackled, and the project will obviously then start to move further forward. But again, it's interesting to see that we're going back to a solution or a location which had been closed, even though another location has been opened and a lot of money has been spent on that. And at the moment, there's still work going on that location. But it'll be interesting to see. Drilling is supposed to start there. Their plans are to line the existing area and to seal it, not only from the waste that is within it, but also to seal it with a membrane that also covers the water that runs off from that location, which again was found to be contaminated in certain areas, to try and seal in the rainwater that would wash off from there as well, and obviously end up going into the sea. So again, interesting to see this is going ahead. Don't forget, this 4.5 million is not to actually carry out the actual work that is to be done, but is to cover the costs of the survey and also certain fines that have also been imposed by the EU on that location as well. So again, we'll keep an eye on that story because again, it's quite interesting. If anybody has an opinion, I would like to know whether you should think that they should reopen the Skopos landfill or whether it should remain closed and sealed, and obviously concentrate on the new landfill that's being built on another part of the island. And finally, some good news. All right. It seems that the Zakynthos Municipal Council, after discussion in which intense concerns and importance were raised, they have decided at noon yesterday by a majority vote that they are going to allow the concession for a Christmas wonderland or Christmas park to be set up in Solomos Square, which I think will be a nice little air of Christmas spirit. Now, one of the things that was raised about this was obviously the safety concerns, COVID restrictions, blah, 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 everything else. But also it was noted as well that it wanted to clarify that this Christmas wonderland or Christmas park that they want to set up is not going to be there for profit. It is going to be definitely there for the children, and that the rides and entertainment that they put on in there should be free. Anyway, a vote was declared yesterday. There were 12 yeses There were 8 people who were present who obviously abstained, and there were 4 people who said no. So it looks like we are going to get some kind of Christmas fair. We used to have them years ago. Remember when we used to have like the ice skating rink that would be set up in the middle of the square? We used to have lots of inflatables would go up. I remember one year where there was like these little pools where you could climb inside these little round balls and go scooting across the water. And of course, Christmas lights, Christmas tree, just basically a nice little thing for the kids to go to. But I like the fact that they said this shouldn't be for profit. This shouldn't be about making money. It should be about, you know, giving a bit of fun, a bit of freedom, a bit of entertainment to people here. And I hope it does go ahead. They said, however, they are still waiting for approval for the types of toys, as they're describing them, that would be put into that area, and we'll see what becomes of it. So it looks like we could be looking towards having a Christmas fair or Christmas wonderland of sorts, okay, in the middle of the St Marco's Square. So again, we'll keep an eye on that. Right, okay, that's it from me for today. Can I say a quick shout out to Andrew the Fridge Watkins? Alan Woodhouse is also tuning in. Lynn Darby is also tuning in as well. Ken Grant says, morning Ginge. David Douglas says, appears to be windy there. Yeah, there is a bit of a wind blowing at the moment, and I must admit all our olives have been done from what I can see, and the olive nets are now shall we say drying out on top of the grapes at the moment, are ready to be packed away until next season. Also David Douglas is there. Dennis Patrick Carroll is also tuning in from Cyprus. Teresa Ann Huggett, Dawn Usher is tuning in as well, and Amanda Gregory says hi, and Maria Hadelberg, who's in Sweden, is also watching as well. Right, that's it from me. You have a fantastic day wherever you may be. Don't forget that at 1 o'clock Greek time, 11 o'clock UK time, there'll be the minute silence across the UK in remembrance for the fallen and for service personnel in general. And again, I will see you later. You take care, have a great day, and I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.